Hey everybody, Drew here for Drew That Underground, back with Bench Clearing Brouhaha, episode 15. This is our Super Bowl coverage and review, and I guess off-season preview, I guess we could call it too, right, bro?
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, with the you guys here, yep, Desert Nord is here, as always. Hey, bro.
Hey there.
So the Super Bowl's over. In my opinion, the wrong team won.
I didn't really care which team would win. I didn't have a
Yeah,
horse in the race, really.
well, neither do I. Colts fan, you a Texan fan. Yeah, neither one of us had a horse in the race. Our horses are at the top of the draft board in April.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as it is, and
Yeah.
we'll get into that because I got a couple notes on the draft that I want to talk about by the end of this stream. But as it is, and I was alluding to, because of questionable officiating, I feel the team that should have won the Super Bowl didn't. That being the Philadelphia Eagles, because they overall were the more complete team, the better defense, the better special teams. I felt, and arguably just as good an offense as the Chiefs. Would you disagree with that?
Mm-hmm. No, this was going to be a good match because both teams had
We're
better
good.
than serviceable. Yeah, better than serviceable on both ends of the ball.
Yeah.
The Eagles'
And
defense was one of the best of the year. There only was a few times in the whole year where I even questioned the Eagles' defense being excellent.
yeah,
And
and
I didn't need to question the Chiefs' defense because they hadn't lost games. They were just winning. They just win every time. You know what I mean?
and the score of the game suggests that it was a great game. 38-35 was the final score.
Sure. In fact, it was very close to the record
Yeah.
for most points scored in a Super Bowl.
Let me look that up right now to find out
No,
what that was.
the record is 75 points.
Yeah, but
And if it weren't for the Chiefs yielding in the last minute and a half there at the end, they would have crossed the line and it would have been the highest scoring Super Bowl of all time.
I want to know what Super Bowl though. Okay, so it looks like the highest points scored
Super Bowl.
in
I think that would be 29.
combined points 29 in 1995, the 49ers and the San Diego Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Most points by an individual team was also in that Super Bowl by the 49ers that year.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait, sorry. Correction. Was the Dallas Cowboys in 1993, Super Bowl 27. They got 52. So, 1993.
Well,
What's that?
it says that the 49ers hold the highest single game point total. They scored 55 points in Super Bowl 24.
Super Bowl 24. Let's see more in the listing here then.
That was against the Broncos. San Francisco won the game 55-10.
I'll take your word for it because I'm not seeing that one even listed here. You said
Niners versus Broncos.
What? 24?
That's what it says here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on this listing here. And this is from.
Well, you're able to look up Super Bowl 24, aren't you?
Yeah, I can go type it in the search that I was looking at here. Let's see, 49ers 55, Denver Broncos 10. Yeah. So yeah, the Niners do hold the record for the most according to that. So I do believe you.
Yeah, and they all are also, of course, you had already mentioned, involved in the highest scoring Super Bowl of all time with the Chargers.
Yeah. For the combined points between both sides. But as it is, this was one of the higher scoring games of the modern era, if not the most of the modern era. That being the 2000s to the 2020s at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, my notes on the Super Bowl are great first half to the game with very competitive back and forth. Let's talk about the halftime show, shall we? Rihanna.
Yeah.
There was no guest appearances by anyone else at all. It was just her performing other people's music and her music.
Mm-hmm.
So on a scale, where would you, place Rihanna's halftime performance
now
in the grand scheme of the history of Super Bowl halftime shows?
I do have to qualify my opinion on this one, because of course you probably already know that having watched it at Uncle's house, he doesn't observe the halftime show.
Okay.
He turns off the halftime show, so I only got to see it later in the replay.
I was watching it live while waiting for Joshy to respond. So
there were some things which I would consider cringy, a little bit, but if you're a Rihanna fan, it's pretty much about as good as you could hope for.
Cringy or not, from
by comparison,
yeah.
By comparison to other Super Bowl performers in history, it could be argued it's top 10, but I personally wouldn't put it in top 5. No. Because Michael Jackson in '93 and Prince in I think it was '06
are the top 2 for sure.
Yeah, those ones just far and away beat this one. It's not close.
So what would you put above this then?
Well, those
past ones. Starters. Well, those are the obvious.
But there's a whole bunch of them.
Because for me, I would probably put Bruno Mars above this one. But I would probably put this at number 6 for me.
People are saying the Lady Gaga one was really great. I don't remember it as.
That probably would be like number 8, 9, maybe. For Lady Gaga.
10 too, but
I would probably because after I got done watching it, I was like, that was better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Because if you add to the fact that she was pregnant while doing all of that.
Yeah, it's part of what people. There's a psychological effect going on here.
Okay. And I kind of buy into that just a little bit because she did all that pregnant. That kind of adds like a little bit of mystique to, well, at least for me, to her flying around on a fucking platform the whole time in the sky, if you will.
Yeah, there's arguments back and forth one way or another saying people will be like, well, she shouldn't even be doing this if she's pregnant. You know, I've heard people arguing all over the place about
it. If you notice that she was rubbing her stomach the whole time, a lot of people online have been going, that was her way of announcing that she's pregnant. Okay.
Yeah,
if that's the
is.
case.
I know she is. She said she is. But
Yeah.
I don't got any bother with any of that stuff.
But still, but in
this
terms of
basically all comes down to how much of a Rihanna fan you are. Again, if you were a Rihanna fan, this is as good as a Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show can get.
I will say this:
So,
I'm not any kind of a Rihanna fan, but there is one song that I absolutely love from her, and that's Umbrella. So
sure, no, and I would consider it to be like a magnum opus from her.
yeah,
You know, she's got good hits. You know, everything from Ponte Replay all the way up through Umbrella and Disturbia, and the list is very long.
She's a good artist. We'll give it. We will never take that away from
One of
her.
the most successful female artists of all time. She's
Yeah.
in the top 5 among female artists of all time. So it's not.
Now
It's
let's
not like we
do.
can sit here and say she hasn't had success. She definitely has.
Now, yeah. Now we're gonna do what we knew we were gonna do. Compare this to last year's. There is no comparison. Last year's fucking sucked.
Well,
halftime performance,
okay,
from my point of view.
Here's the thing, though. Like, the one thing I did want to mention for starters. Okay, I know we didn't go over the whole game yet, and I don't even know if we were gonna go over the whole game or whatever. But
well, we are gonna touch on the questionable fucking calls.
Honestly, I liked the Chris Stapleton national anthem more than I liked the halftime show.
Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful. That was arguably the best music-related anything that happened with the Super Bowl.
I mean,
was him on his axe doing the national anthem.
I think I like that even more than probably the only national anthem singing I like more than that one is Whitney Houston's. I mean, that was right there, right up there with that. I mean, that was how it should be done.
That's fair.
That was like really, really good. I mean, I don't necessarily enjoy it when artists embellish it and overdo it and make it weird and try to make it their own and all that. I don't usually like that. But man, I have to say, Chris, it just fucking nailed it. Just it's indescribably good how he did that.
Yeah.
And
that was really awesome. And it even made the Eagles head coach cry.
No, I know. And a lot of the people in the audience were like suddenly realizing, holy shit, he's doing this great. He's doing a great performance of the national anthem right now. Like people it was like an audible gasp in the room when people realized how good he was doing this.
But
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I gotta give him props because I don't know as if a male artist could do better than that. I really don't.
I completely agree.
A female artist, maybe, but a male artist, I do not believe a male artist could do better than that with the national anthem.
No debate here for me. I completely agree.
I mean, even Luciano Pavarotti should be blushing in his grave from that one.
But to finish up talking about the music-related stuff for the Super Bowl and get back to the game itself, in terms of Rihanna's performance, that's the best that I think that she was ever going to be able to do, and it wasn't bad at all. It was really good from my point of view. My favorite part about it really had nothing to do with the performance per se. It was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. Him talking about that performance and the dancers basically leaving their dicks all around, essentially, with the way they were dancing. So my favorite part was the discussion from Pat McAfee describing how the dancers were dancing. And then he started wiggling his crotch on his show. I'm like, this is the best Super Bowl halftime show I've ever seen now. Because it made Pat McAfee wiggle his hips on his show.
The way I see it, it's a top 10 Super Bowl performance, but it's not top 5. And anyone that would say it's top 5 is a diehard Rihanna fan.
Putting it at 6. So, but the game itself,
the game itself.
The referees were letting them play throughout most of the game, not really throwing flags except for once in a great while. And as the Pat McAfee showed the Pat McAfee show on YouTube said on Monday about the penalties and the lack thereof. They didn't call any holding calls the entire game until that one at the end of the game.
I really liked,
which has me thinking that the NFL had a bunch of Chiefs fans calling this year's Super Bowl.
Well, it wasn't like this wasn't like the most blatant bad officiating of all time. Let's not be hyperbolic and say that it was god awful or something.
Well, it wasn't.
Rough patches.
It was
things
good.
where I was like,
It was far from good too.
Yeah, it wasn't. I definitely wouldn't call it good. But if I were going to say, oh well, they were just straight up bought by the Chiefs. I don't think it was that blatant. There was a couple of places, especially late in the game, where you're like, oh yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. It was especially the holding call there. That made no sense to me. They should have picked that flag up and said, no, there was no flag.
First of all, when an Eagles receiver catches like a Tyreek Hill type of fucking catch on his helmet on the sidelines, both feet in bounds, maintaining control of the ball the whole fucking time, NFL.
Well, no, see, that's the whole debate. You're just saying that, but bro, the whole
listen,
he didn't.
Listen to me. Did the
ball rolled on the ground, on the way to the ground?
Did the ball move? Yes, but he maintained the control with the ball in his hands as it was moving, as he was rolling. That's what I saw.
That's a matter of contention, though. That's not like obvious. That's where the debate comes in. There's a debate to be had about whether or not that catch was a catch. But we're talking about
from what I saw in the replay, that was a catch.
No, I'm just saying that's your opinion, though. What I'm saying is that, like with the holding call, okay?
Yeah, the holding call.
See anywhere a hold occurred.
And the ball, I was looking down at my food at the time when the play was halfway through. I looked up at my TV and I saw the ball up in the air, flying over everyone's fucking head into the end zone.
No, yeah, the ball was borderline uncatchable.
To the point where my two thoughts. And then I saw there was a penalty. I'm like, what, pass interference? Did someone knock somebody down? And then they showed the replay. I'm like, no, they both dove in the end zone trying to catch it, and they weren't even fucking close to even catching it. Nobody was. So where was the penalty? And then I spent like the rest of the time after the game trying to go, I still don't know where the fucking penalty was. And then I found the replay online and took a closer look. I'm like, that is so fucking tacky to throw a flag there.
No, I know.
Especially since you haven't called that the whole damn game.
Well, no, I know, but that's irrelevant. Whether they've called it the whole game or not, each play has to be viewed individually. So that's not a valid point.
That's fine. But
the point I would make though,
yeah.
The point I would make though is that the reason I wouldn't have thrown a flag there is because if there was any illegal contact, then it occurred right off the snap. And you're not supposed to be throwing a fucking holding call.
And
the contact occurs right at the line.
And as we said before, I clicked the live button. Even after the supposed hold, Juju still got wide the fuck open in the end zone, even though the ball was off in dark space somewhere. So the hold meant nothing. He still got as open as the blue sky on a sunny day.
Not only is that an extraordinary stretch to call it holding because of where the contact occurred, and the only contact they could point to wasn't illegal, but he also got open and the ball was nowhere near catchable, basically.
Yeah.
So, like, you have
God
flags
couldn't
number
catch
1,
it.
2, 3, 4, and 5 on this play.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason that flag shouldn't have been picked up other than Mahomes screaming and pointing and waving his fucking hands in the air, and the ref is scared of not calling it or something. I don't know.
If you're not going to see proof, Roger Goodell and NFL, whoever the fuck runs the NFL at this point, other than him, if you're not going to see that you need to do something with the referees union and the officials, then you'll never see jack shit ever, motherfuckers. So
Yeah, the officiating was dicey. But I liked the first half of the game. The first half of the game was like really just clean.
Beautiful, yeah. The refs were letting them play fucking football. They were leaving them alone.
Third quarter calls started getting made. There was one mess up where the refs weren't ready for the setup. They let the next play go, but then they said, "Oh, we weren't ready," and then they took it back a play. But then Andy Reid threw a challenge flag on the play before that, and then they took the review challenge, accepted it for whatever reason. And
this is what you get when you have part-time officials calling the Super Bowl.
The point I would make, though, is that my least favorite part of the whole game was the last minute and a half. I did not like that at all.
Yeah.
The last minute and a half of the game really made me feel like, I mean, it took it from one of the best Super Bowls I had ever watched to.
It took it from the best that I could ever remember,
to me having serious misgivings about it at that point.
It has me taking serious misgivings in calling the Chiefs the legit Super Bowl champions at this point.
Well, I mean, obviously they are, bro. That wasn't my
point. I know that. What I mean by that is
like Peyton Manning's second ring when he finally got it. He didn't even win the game. It was the defense when that happened. It was Von Miller.
Yeah, okay. But the referees didn't ruin the fucking outcome of the game like here.
I mean, to say, okay, the Chiefs are the world champions, you're like, yeah, that's technically correct. Just like it's technically correct.
But there's a giant asterisk behind, right next to it, though.
Ring was fucking not even earned by him, basically.
What I'm saying is this ring for the Chiefs was earned by the referees.
Well, no, it's not. It wasn't even the refs, dude. It was the play flow, but it was the choice of the Chiefs' coaching staff to play it like such a bitch at the end. I mean, honestly, I would slap you. I would fucking slap you.
You know damn well that I'm just heaving it downfield most of the time. You and I both didn't give Brady enough.
They should have played this out. As they should have scored with the win, you fucking earn it.